Based on the series so far, Atomic Habits, Crucial Conversations, The Coaching Habit, Radical Candor, and the 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. The next book is Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. You have learned to build habits, have hard conversations, coach your people, give honest feedback, and diagnose what is breaking your team. Now it is time to understand the one thing that makes people willingly give their best at work. And it starts with what kind of leader you choose to be. Leaders eat last. Why some teams pull together and others do not. Hi, this is Rahul and you are watching Books I Read, where I share books that help us lead better at work, in the kitchen, in business, and at home. Today's book is Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. The title comes from a tradition in the military where officers eat only after every person in their unit has eaten. Nobody told them they had to do this. No policy required it. They did it because that is what leadership actually means. You put your people first. And when you do that consistently, something extraordinary happens. Your people will do almost anything for you and for the team. Why this book works in India. In India, we have a complicated relationship with authority. On one side, we respect hierarchy deeply. On the other side, we have all seen what happens when that hierarchy is used to serve the person at the top rather than the people at the bottom. Leaders who take credit for their team's wins and assign blame when things go wrong. Managers who treat their position as a privilege rather than a responsibility. Owners who demand loyalty but never demonstrate it first. This book explains, using biology, psychology, and real leadership stories, exactly why that kind of leadership destroys performance over time. And it gives you a completely different picture of what leadership looks like when it actually works. What is the circle of safety? The central idea of this book is something the author calls the circle of safety, and it is a beautiful concept. Think about the world your team operates in every day. There are real external pressures, competitor outlets opening nearby, rising food costs, demanding guests, delivery platforms squeezing margins, regulatory changes. These are real dangers, and they come from outside the organization. Now here is the question. When your team faces those external pressures, do they face them together? Or are they also simultaneously managing threats from inside the organization? A manager who might humiliate them in front of others. A culture where admitting a mistake gets you punished. A leadership team where politics and favoritism decide who gets recognized and who gets ignored. When people feel unsafe inside the organization, they cannot focus on the dangers outside it. They spend their energy protecting themselves from each other, instead of protecting the business from the market. The leader's most important job, according to this book, is to draw a circle of safety around the entire team. Inside that circle, people feel seen, heard, and protected. Inside that circle, they can take risks, admit mistakes, and ask for help without fear. And when that circle is strong, the whole team turns outward together to face whatever the world throws at them. Indian example. Imagine 2 outlets of the same food and beverage brand. In the first outlet, when a guest complains, the manager immediately asks in front of everyone, whose fault was this? The team goes silent. Everyone looks down. Nobody wants to be the one who caused the problem. The real reason for the complaint never gets found because everyone is too busy protecting themselves. In the second outlet, when a guest complains, the manager pulls the team together and asks, what happened? What can we learn? And how do we make sure this guest leaves happy and comes back? The team speaks openly. The problem gets solved, the guest is recovered, and the team gets better. Same brand, same menu, same city, completely different results. The only difference is the circle of safety. The biology behind why this works. One of the most fascinating parts of this book is where the author explains what is actually happening in our bodies when we feel safe versus when we feel threatened. He talks about 4 chemicals that drive almost all human behavior at work. Chemical 1, endorphins. These are released when we push through physical effort. They are the reason a kitchen team can get through a brutal Saturday night service and still feel a strange kind of satisfaction at the end of it. Endorphins mask pain and allow sustained effort. Chemical 2, dopamine. This is the chemical of achievement and progress. Every time we complete a task, hit a target, or tick something off the list, we get a small hit of dopamine. This is why checklists work. This is why visible progress boards in kitchens and outlets improve performance. We are literally wired to feel good when we achieve things. Chemical 3, serotonin. This is the chemical of status and recognition. When a leader acknowledges a team member in front of others, serotonin is released in both of them. The person being recognized feels pride. The leader giving recognition also feels it. This is why public praise, as we discussed in Radical Candor, is so powerful. It is not just psychological, it is biological. Chemical 4, oxytocin. This is the most important one for teams. Oxytocin is the chemical of trust and bonding. It is released when we feel genuinely cared for by another person. When a leader takes time to ask how you are doing and actually means it. When a colleague covers for you during a tough shift without being asked. When a manager defends their team member to a difficult guest instead of siding with the guest to avoid conflict. Oxytocin builds loyalty, and loyalty is what makes teams stay together and fight for each other when things get hard. Now here is the problem. There is a fifth chemical the author talks about, and it works against all four of these. It is called cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. When we feel threatened, unsafe, or uncertain, our bodies release cortisol. And cortisol does something very specific. It suppresses oxytocin. It literally shuts down our capacity for trust, empathy, and connection. This means that every time a leader creates fear in their team, whether through unpredictable behavior, public humiliation, threats, or a culture of blame, they are chemically reducing the team's ability to trust each other. You cannot build a team while simultaneously releasing cortisol in everyone around you. The biology will not allow it. The danger of dopamine without oxytocin. The author makes a very sharp observation about modern leadership. Many organizations are very good at creating dopamine hits, targets, leaderboards, incentive schemes, bonuses, quarterly reviews. Hit the number and you get the reward, miss it and you feel the consequence. But organizations that run purely on dopamine without oxytocin create a very specific kind of culture. People compete with each other instead of collaborating. They hoard information instead of sharing it. They protect their own numbers instead of helping a colleague who is struggling. Indian example. A large catering company has a strong incentive structure. Every event manager is measured individually on their event's profitability. It sounds logical. But what actually happens is that event managers start competing for the best venues, the best suppliers, the best staff. They stop helping each other. When one event manager is overwhelmed, nobody offers to help because there is nothing in it for them. The company's overall results suffer, even though every individual is technically performing. The fix is not to remove accountability. The fix is to add collective goals alongside individual ones. When part of everyone's reward comes from how the whole team performs, collaboration becomes rational, not just nice to have. What leaders who get this right actually do? The author studied leaders across industries, including military, business, and community organizations, and found that the ones who built the strongest cultures all shared a set of behaviors that had nothing to do with strategy or intelligence. They had everything to do with how they treated people. They were present. They put their phones away in conversations. They looked people in the eye. They remembered names and personal details. They showed up on the floor, in the kitchen, at the outlet, not just in meetings. Presence signals to people that they matter. Absence signals the opposite. They absorbed uncertainty on behalf of their team. In difficult times, when nobody knew what was going to happen, these leaders communicated clearly, shared what they knew, admitted what they did not know, and stayed visibly calm. Panic travels from the top down, so does steadiness. They gave credit away and took responsibility inward. When things went well, they pointed to the team. When things went wrong, they stood in front of the team and owned the outcome. This is the exact opposite of what insecure leaders do. And it is the single fastest way to build fierce loyalty. They set clear expectations and then trusted people to meet them. They did not micromanage. They explained the why behind the what, gave people the tools and the authority they needed, and then got out of the way. People who feel trusted perform at a completely different level from people who feel supervised. And the last one, which gives the book its title, they ate last, literally and metaphorically. They took care of their people's needs before their own. They protected their team in difficult conversations. They fought for resources on their team's behalf. They celebrated others before themselves, and their teams repaid this 100 times over. Not because they were told to, but because when someone genuinely takes care of you, you want to take care of them. Indian example. A regional manager of a quick service restaurant chain makes it a habit to visit each outlet during the toughest shift of the week, the Friday evening rush. Not to inspect, but to work alongside the team. She clears trays, she restocks packaging, she covers the counter when someone needs a break. Her outlet managers would walk through fire for her. Her teams have the lowest attrition in the region, and her outlets consistently lead on both guest satisfaction and profitability. Not because she has the best systems, because she has the deepest trust. How to start using this book this week? First, identify one person on your team who has been doing good work quietly without recognition. This week, acknowledge them specifically and publicly, not a general well done to everyone. Name the person, name the action, name why it mattered. Do it in the briefing in front of the team. Watch what that one moment does to the energy in the room. Second, have one conversation this week where you put your phone away completely and give someone your full, undivided attention for 10 minutes. Ask them how they're actually doing, not as a formality. As a genuine question, listen without thinking about what you're going to say next. This single habit, practiced consistently, builds more trust than any policy or incentive scheme ever will. Third, the next time something goes wrong in your outlet, in your kitchen, in your team, resist the instinct to find out whose fault it is. Instead, ask what happened, what do we learn, and what do we change? One question protects the circle of safety. The other destroys it. Who should read this? Pick up Leaders Eat Last if you lead a team of any size and feel like you are not getting the full effort and commitment that the people around you are capable of giving. If you work in an environment where people are technically present but emotionally checked out, if you have high attrition and cannot figure out why people keep leaving despite decent pay, if you want to understand the science behind why some cultures are magnetic and others are toxic, and if you have ever asked yourself, am I the kind of leader that people would follow if they had a choice? My quick rating for books I read. Practical Tools, 4 out of 5. This is more of a leadership philosophy book than a step-by-step manual, but the principles are clear and the applications are obvious once you understand them. Storytelling and examples, 5 out of 5. Simon Sinek is one of the best writers in leadership. The stories in this book, from military units to corporate turnarounds, are gripping and deeply human. India relevance, 5 out of 5. In a country where authority is often confused with leadership and where fear is sometimes used as a management tool, this book is not just useful, it is necessary. Reread value, 5 out of 5. Revisit this every time you are promoted into a bigger role, every time your team is going through a difficult season, and every time you feel the pressure to put results before people. It will bring you back to what actually matters. If this episode of Books I Read on Leaders Eat Last helped you, do like, share, and subscribe, and send it to one leader in your life who you feel genuinely takes care of their people. Tell them this book was written about people like them. Tell me in the comments, what is one thing your best ever manager or leader did that made you feel genuinely safe and valued at work? I want to know, because those stories are worth sharing. Drop your book recommendations in the comments too, especially anything around leadership, people, culture, and the business of food.